genetically modified fun. I just wanted to do a little talk. You know, I see what's going on with younger people, and I'm an old fart. I see the kind of world they're being left. All I can say is sorry about that. Not everybody in the baby boom generation was a materialist jerk. Seems like every generation, to be cliched about it, blamed someone before. I can remember 1981. I was in my early 20s, and the recession hit pretty damn hard. It wasn't even a recession, it was more like a depression. There was actually, a minimum wage job at a gas station. Had lineups of 100 people or so. And after that recession, it seemed like life never got any better for the vast majority of citizens. And in fact, if you look at it statistically, it never did. Because that was the age of greed. That was the age of greed is good. Never subscribed to it myself. Rode a bicycle around for 20 years with my wife. Because, I was born in 1957. Why is 1957 important? It wasn't particularly. 1957, let's see. What's today? Today is June 25th, 2013. So let's check up and see what happened on this date when I was born. Way back in 1957, on this date, I was born in an automobile, going around a traffic circle in February. True story. My mom always liked to say that I gave her trouble from the day I was born, and I guess in a lot of ways she was right about that. But I'm an old man. Goes by fast, kids. Don't mock old people, because in 5 minutes you'll be there. And if you think I'm lying, just wait. It speeds up as you get older. Don't feel any different. Still a misfit. Except now, I feel like, we're all under surveillance. When I was growing up, 60s, and 70s when I was a teenager and stuff, this would have been considered an outrageous nightmare surveillance state. Nobody would have believed it was possible. We lost so many of our freedoms, not just in America, but in Canada, in Europe, all over the world. A lot of times I look at an issue like smoking, which, let's face it, smoking cigarettes is not very good for you and not terribly smart. But I don't really think that's why all the restrictions came in on smoking in public places. I think it's just a matter of control, really. You don't see public gatherings the way you used to, particularly since the advent of the internet and the advent of people staying in their homes. That's what I miss most about the old days, going out and having a drink with friends, checking out the latest band. I mean, you can still do stuff like that to a lesser extent, but the amount of money involved for most people these days is prohibitive. And most of the bar customers, at least in this city, probably in most cities, you can say this about, were smokers, And it's the unintended consequences that I wonder about all this stuff. You make people lose money, and you take money out of the economy. I mean, same thing with the cigarettes. You take, I don't know how much they are where you are, but a package of cigarettes in Canada costs you like at least $10. And It creates poverty. I don't care what anybody says. If you do the demographic studies about smoking, overwhelmingly, it's amongst the working class and the less educated. And not only are they victims to huge advertising campaigns and everything, I don't think young people realize how inundated we were with cigarettes when we were, you're looking 40 years ago and that.
Smooth all the way. Newport's fresh menthol keeps it that way. Smoother and fresher, day after day. The smoothest tasting menthol cigarette.
What's going on?
Nothing, dear.
Newport tastes smoother, day after day. The smoothest tasting menthol cigarette.
I can honestly remember smoking cigarettes in the grocery store, like everybody else. But to get back to the taxation issue, and we're cutting down on smoking and that, that's not true. I know people that pick up butts off the sidewalk so they can feed their habit. All that is taking money out of the economy among people that spend all their money. And this goes on and on and on. Here's the grocery store. I've got to wonder if Canada's kind of experiencing its own housing bubble. Properties never lost value. When America's housing bubble collapsed a few years back, we didn't, and it wasn't because of the brilliance of our Bank of Canada governor or finance minister who left a huge deficit in Ontario when he was part of the right-wing Mike Harris government. Gotta pay for those corporate tax cuts somehow. Close down another hospital, another program for those lousy, lazy people. I'll be back in a minute.
Chief, believe me, you're in for a treat just as soon as Jimmy gets back here.
Great Caesar's ghost. What's holding him up? You know I can't work without a good breakfast.
Chief, Jimmy's bringing a box of Kellogg's Sugar Smacks.
All the more reason for hurrying. Confound it, that boy knows I like those new Sugar Smacks.
And he knows I do, too. And that's a cinch.
Well, here I am. Young man, if you spill those new Sugar Smacks, you're fired.
This is no good. People, all kinds of people in the private sector know all of your business. They can use it to sell you stuff, which they do, obviously. They can use it, though, for more nefarious reasons if the company they're working for happens to be a subcontractor or a contractor of some national defense industry. So what are we going to do? Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about. Relax, smile, be happy, consume.
Dipped in smooth milk chocolate to seal in that fresh roasted flavor.
I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn looking for an angry fix. Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo in the machinery of night. Who poverty and tatters and hollowed-eyed and high sat up smoking in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats, floating across the tops of cities, contemplating jazz, who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw Mohammedan angels staggering on tenement roofs illuminated, who passed through universities with radiant cool eyes, hallucinating Arkansas and Blake Light tragedy among the scholars of war, who were expelled from the academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes to the windows of the skull, cowered in unshaven rooms in underwear, burning their money in wastebaskets and listening to the terror through the wall, who got busted in their public beards returning through Laredo with a belt of marijuana for New York.